A good day to all participants joining in from various parts of the world. It has been a very exciting time preparing for this day. And for that, of course, I have to thank Katya and Adishri from Devaiha, and also Julian and Amrita from GINSEP. This is something that is so different from the usual events that you organize. And so I'm particularly happy to be here. It's my pleasure to be giving my perspectives on science and society and how to accelerate the path from lab to market. Having worked in this field for over 20 years, one has been privileged to accompany and observe many rapid developments taking place. From straightforward fundamental research and applied research, today we are talking about incremental research, transformational research, collaborative networks, technology markets, clusters, innovation hubs, user innovation. The spectrum is dynamic and extremely interesting. Science, technology, and innovation policy is shaped by persistent policy framings that arise from historical context. We are all aware there are two established frames which are identified as coexisting and dominant in contemporary innovation policy discussions. The first frame is identified as beginning with the post-World War II institutionalization of government support for science and R&D, with the notion that it would contribute to societal growth and restrict private knowledge capture. This is when fundamental science was supported by government and public institutions of scientific excellence were established. Examples are Max Planck Society, Humboldt, etc. in Germany, and the Indian Institute of Science, for example, in India. The second frame emerged in the 1980s in a globalizing world, and its emphasis was on national competitiveness and therefore shaped by national systems of innovation for knowledge creation and commercialization. These institutions helped to accelerate knowledge from the lab to the market, and thus was born Fraunhofer in Germany, or similarly CSIR in India. A third frame linked to contemporary social and environmental challenges, such as the Sustainable Development Goals and calling for transformational change. This is identified and distinguished from the two earlier frames because it considers the society as a whole in a very holistic way and also calls for multi-sectoral and complementary partnerships. This has led to setting up of centers of excellence, clusters, and the like, with special focus on subsectors like biotechnology, manufacturing, etc. Going forward, an emerging frame is now further fortified through new economy sectors such as AI, smart manufacturing, smart energy, calling for multidisciplinary approaches, and hence presupposes a more complex ecosystem of stakeholders, such as research, academia, industry, startups, and accelerators. How can government policies and how should they shape this transformational research and leverage their outcomes for the benefit of the society is what I would like to share with you today. Fraunhofer, the organization I work for, is an excellent example of the policy underpinning that brings a basic public and builds upon it with industry participation so that the outcomes reach the market in the shortest time. The government funding helps to cover risks and the industry sets the demand. Fraunhofer does not only focus on proprietary research, which is of course one of its key tasks, but coordinates several innovation clusters in Germany and indeed around the world. For every €2 earned through industry projects, the government provides €1 as contribution. The overarching objective is achieving societal benefits arising from knowledge and technology breakthroughs. The fundamental inputs of science come from universities and technical institutes. Thus, a very efficient scientific landscape, which is supported and indeed catalyzed by government policy and funding. This basic model works well in stable conditions, though given the dynamic and sometimes disruptive conditions, the rapid change of technology, globalization, and local for global movement, a very different set of complementary policies are needed to build upon and accompany these paradigms. Let us take, for example, though an extreme one, of the COVID situation today. A never before and hopefully never after situation has captured our lives around the globe. As the COVID epidemic spreads around the globe, we can see some very interesting paradigms emerging. Policymakers scrambling to find ways to protect lives and curb the spread of the virus. Governments around the world took it upon themselves to provide the basic impetus and helped coordinate multiple stakeholders to accelerate the technology breakthrough needed to address the problem. In Germany, for example, a consortium of civil society organizations under the leadership of Hertie School came together to create solutions for the social, economic, and healthcare challenges presented by this unfolding crisis. Supported by the government, the German government, the consortium launched the Virus Hackathon, an open school social innovation initiative that brought together 28,000 participants to generate almost 1,500 ideas over 48 hours. 20 of the hackathon's best ideas were financially rewarded by the government, with a further 130 projects becoming part of a post-hackathon implementation program. Similarly, in Berlin, one startup and 7 large companies collaborated to produce 6,500 ventilators in just, hold your breath, 90 days for the Ministry of Health in Brazil. In India, the Office of the Prime Minister's Advisor for Science and Technology unleashed several programs that helped startups to come together with established institutions of scientific excellence and develop solutions. Government also set up policies that facilitated the repurposing of industrial production capacity to manufacture masks, medical equipment, oxygen concentrators, and a variety of other medical help. So what are the lessons learned from these initiatives for policy mechanisms to foster innovation? We need emergency financing to solve liquidity problems, coordination mechanisms for innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystems, as well as funding of support networks such as GINSEP, co-working spaces, accelerators, incubators, angel investors, and venture capital network. Funding for innovative proposals of established companies and new companies like startups alike, either individually or in partnership, demand-side support, both to quickly define challenges and problems and to improve the capacity to finance the capacity to design solutions. The crisis will wreak havoc on countries' productive and social structure, and its outcome will affect the future collaborations. Therefore, stakeholders will need to think about how innovation policy and startups can facilitate regional economic recovery in the short and medium term. Emergency funding for startups is one of the main instruments that governments worldwide adopted. The European Innovation Council set out nearly 200 million euros in the very first phase to bring startups and corporates, as well as research institutions together to find quick solutions. Coordination and funding of key nodes of innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystems is another critically important instrument. Chancellor Merkel's office coordinated and closely monitored the collaborative effort of several stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem to address the challenges and develop solutions. The results are astounding, and this important intervention has definitely helped to accelerate the process on a mission mode. Support and financing of innovation solution, identification of challenges leading to innovation programs on a mission mode is one of the most enabling frameworks that governments can provide. Whether smart cities, climate change, or education, these topics need major policy support and an enabling framework. The emerging trends in innovation lead us towards a very fast-paced, multidisciplinary, multi-stakeholder collaboration paradigm that will call for policy framework that enables science-based actors and entrepreneurs to maximize value creation in a very short period of time and ensure that the impact of these innovations reaches the larger base of the pyramid. The policies will need to put in special focus on appropriability of funds, which is translate to the return on investment, since taxpayers' money is the core of these funding mechanisms. The legal framework is another area where there are fast-changing development taking place. Product patents, trade secrecy arrangements for innovation processes, and creating a supportive mechanism for user-driven innovations will be the cornerstones of the enabling framework. Society is at an interesting inflection point where innovation is the prime engine of growth and the prosperity of our nations. And we as actors in this paradigm have a very responsible role to play. It is therefore that I'm so delighted that a wide range of actors have come together today to put their best foot forward to achieve synergies in this process. And I hope that this is just start of a very, very exciting journey. Thank you for your attention.